Well, Hank and I met prior to Sandy Hook Yacht Sales down in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. We were working at a little place called Bay Yacht Sales. And he was from Florida. I've been living in New Jersey. I was doing a thing, selling Hobie cats. Went down to Point Pleasant, and Hank walked in, and I hired him as a broker friend. And I left there about a year later, and Hank joined me about another year and a half later after that. So when I first started, actually, I did have a small partner named Lance Cunningham, who runs a marina in Sabre, just a very short time. And as soon as I met Hank and Hank was coming to Sabre, I decided to make Hank my partner. And we were together for 37 years.
I moved back from Florida in 1982, where I worked on boats, built boats, sold boats. I applied for a job at, 5, 6 places I knew that sold boats. And they all were happy to take somebody to work for commission only. And I picked the company where Bill was working because when I went there, he and I kind of hit it off. We're similar age, whatnot, and then we worked there together for about a year and had great success, lots of fun, got to know each other really well. And he actually left first and started Sandy Hook with a mutual friend of ours, Lance Cunningham. And after a year or two of those guys, getting started but not going, I was ready to leave to go back to Florida. My dad got sick, and I asked Billy, let me come up here and hang around while I see how my dad does and sell some boats. And within months, I basically bought Lance's share, and Bill and I became partners and really took Sandy Hook forward from then.
I'll say when we started out, 1983, we started selling Freedom sailboats and Tartan sailboats. We moved into Sabre sailboats. I had a gentleman named Bob Menarche, bought a Freedom 21. It wound up here somehow, and he bought 9 other boats from us through the years. Sabres and back coves, sail and power. We always tried to have people like that, as they grew up and their family grew up and their life changed a little bit, they would come back to us for their next boat. So we did operate like a family. Probably had 10 employees at that time, prior to opening up Jersey City and Ocean Gate Yacht Basin. And a lot of repeat customers through the years, which kept us in business through, good times and bad.
There's still a few of them here. Dave's up in Jersey City, and Dave's my age, and he's been with Bill and I a long, long time. Brian, who was with us for 35 years, just retired. A couple of the guys in service, 3 of them primarily, Kevin Galena, Carl Girding, and Artie, have all been with us a long time and are great guys, and are helping some of the younger guys in service, and including the service manager, Frank, to understand what he needs to do his job right, because these guys, they don't need instructions. See that boat out there? This is what's got to go on it. They take care of it, they make it work, and they're the guys that new boat purchasers really should thank, because they're deliberate guys that are skilled, that care.
Hank and Bill. You asked me to say something about Hank and Bill. What can I say? They started Sandy Hook Yachts 30, 40 years ago. Ran the company successfully for 35 years. Great guys. I bought boats from them. I worked with them. Wonderful to work with. Hank is Mr. Sabre, and Bill has always been a treat to work with. Bill and I have the same musical instruments. We go out and hear music together as well. They've done a wonderful job, and we all appreciate them. Still working with us, and things are good.
Well, 40 years for these guys. It's been fun. 31 years that I've been here. Congratulations, fellas. It went in a blur. They asked me to say a few words, and again, it's been a up and down ride through 08, Sandy, building back the company. I've known Hank for probably over 40 years, and he's like, "You want to come and work in a boat business?" And I said, "Sure." And that was way back in '89 or so, and then I just gravitated full time. And Bill and Hank, we started to build the business back up from scratch after Sandy. Now here we are in 2023, 40 years. It's been great working with these guys. Hank hasn't changed in 40 years. I haven't known Bill that long, but he's still the same character that I knew when I met him. And it's been like family here. And it's tough to say goodbye sometimes, but you know, it's been fun. Thanks.
You meet people in other companies when you sell brands of new boats that you end up starting relationships with. And when you sell used boats, particularly in the Maine to Florida corridor, you meet brokers all over, and over the years, you establish networks of friends. Some of them are new boat dealers, many of them are just yacht brokers in all kinds of towns up and down the eastern seaboard, and you get your credibility accepted because the word gets out that you're honorable, you got integrity. You describe a boat to a broker calling from Florida accurately. If they send the customer, you take care of the customer nice. So when it's time to send a guy down to Florida, you usually have somebody at another firm you've done business with, and you make it easier for the customers.
Hank and Bill, congratulations on 40 years of a successful business. I have to tell you, it's been a great pleasure working with you. I met you at the beginning of my career, both of you. I've had a lot of fun between, you know, working the shows, dinner afterwards, the jokes during the long days, all the long hard hours, staying at the condo in Tequesta. All good times, guys. I find it an honor to have worked with both of you. Hank, you have really helped me shape my salesman style. You're the first guy that pulled me aside at my first boat show and said, "Hey dude, it's great you know all this information, but they don't give a damn about it. Sell them the boat and the way they're gonna use it. Have them imagine themselves using the boat. They don't care about shaft diameter and propeller pitch. You know all that stuff, it's great, but sell them the boat, dude."
Didn't meet Bill till about 3 years ago when they were both, I guess it was right after the purchase. But I met Hank, feels like a couple hundred times, even though it wasn't. Always very helpful, fabulous to be around at the boat shows. It's where I met him originally. And always went out of his way to make sure everything was good, asked about family, well before he ever asked about business, which I thought was always great. And just a pleasure to speak to him on the phone if we haven't talked for a while, and I'm really happy that they made it through everything. They went through some hard times up there with the hurricane, came out, on top. And I'm glad that they're still around, and hope they take their time on the way out and really enjoy things because they earned it.
I guess when I got into my mid-late 60s, I decided to, look, Hank and I said, what's our exit strategy here going to be? So I put the word out through a friend or two, and actually a friend of Matt's named John, who's my friend, decided to, say, oh, talk to Bill Bergin, him and Hank thinking about doing something, and Matt was the first person I chatted with about, being local. He's a Rumson guy. My family grew up in Rumson. It went well. We hit it off. We had a little COVID hump in the beginning there, right? As they were going to close, COVID hit and shut everything down. So, threw a little sand into the Vaseline. But it all worked out in the end.
So let me tell you a little about Billy Bergin. I've known him for 39 years. Every now and then you come a crossroads where you have to make a decision, and often I ask myself, what would Billy Bergin do? He's certainly one of my closest and best friends after 39 years, and without question the salt of the earth. At one point my career changed a little bit, and I had a desk that I felt was my lucky desk, and I gave that to Billy, and I believe Billy has now bequeathed it to Matt to continue with Sandy Hook Yachts. Regarding our friend Hank, haven't known him quite as long, but probably 25 years. When you see Hank, what do you think of? Sam Elliott. Hank is probably the most upbeat, positive guy in the world. You can see Hank on a rainy, snowy afternoon in May, and Hank's comment is, it's a great day to sell boats. So I've been charmed and pleased to meet and spend time with both of them over the years, and hope to continue, and certainly will continue, our friendship.
And that spirit, whether it was in sales, the secretarial, or the service end, was consistent over the years. It never wavered, and boaters, not only here in New Jersey, but once again up and down the coast, knew that, we were a good company to do business with. Like say, sitting here in the catbird seat now, you look over your shoulder and, it was a lot of fun, man. Just like my wife always says, my husband worked very hard, but he never felt like he had a job. And that's pretty much right on. That's the important thing. Sandy Hook Yachts will change, but hopefully it'll never be different.